Hey there, this is Rob from Southgate Media Group. The following podcast was recorded during the SMG Podcast Marathon at Indy PopCon 2018 in Indianapolis, Indiana. This podcast marathon was 10 hours long and featured 19 podcasts covering a wide variety of geek-centric topics. Before we jump into the episode, I want to thank our amazing sponsors for this SMG Podcast Marathon. Without you, it would not have been nearly as cool. Links to our sponsors can be found in the show notes and at our website, southgatemediagroup.com. First of all, thank you to Tango Comics for the exceptional event poster. Thanks to our banner sponsors, Passionerdly Podcasts, Tome Travelers Podcast, Kinda Nerdy News with KJ Podcast, Movie Madness Podcast, Ed Maudlin and the Maudlin Realty Group, Very Dark, Very Quick Podcast, Advanced TV Herstory Podcast, Seriously? Let's Play Podcast, Dice Voyeurs Podcast, The Masks of Nythralothtop Podcast, The CritShow Podcast, The Amazing LARP, Chronicles of the Realm, Midnight Matinees Podcast, The Blue Box Café in Elgin, Illinois, Otherworld Theater in Chicago, Illinois, the This Week in Geek Podcast, live at the Blue Box Podcast, the Binge-Worthy Podcast, and SMG Microcons. A special thanks to the Bonus Hours Podcast Network for sponsoring our free charging station. There would have been a lot of dead devices without your support. And finally, thanks to the sponsors of our program, the Bonus Hours Podcast Network, featuring the podcast Between the Profound and Profane, Kinda Nerdy News with KJ, The Crit Show, an actual play podcast, Very Dark, Very Quick, the podcast, Passionerdly.com, featuring the podcasts Dice Voyeurs and Tome Travelers, the Kevin Long Show podcast, and finally, the upcoming book, Pod Life, Podcaster's Stories. And there we go, the plugs are done. Enjoy the show.
There it goes.
These are the mics for the room. These
Right.
are what you're actually recording into.
I gotcha.
Cool.
So we're double mic. We're fancy.
These will pick it up.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
Strange and familiar worlds, to seek out new listeners and new civilizations, to boldly go where most nerds have already gone.
You're a terrible person.
Join Matt, Shirley,
like
and
you
their
love
guests
it.
who will
Shut
talk
up.
about an episode of Star Trek, from the original series through Enterprise. They'll cover every episode, eventually.
Hey, don't mock 5-year mission. That's 5-year mission. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to There Are Four Lights. I'm Matt, and I'm here with Cullen Bricker.
Thank you, and do not criticize me when I decide to rock out.
And of Cult Cinema Cavalcade and Masks of Nythralothtop. Look at that, dual podcasting.
It's true, yeah.
So, Cullen, tell us real quick about Cult Cinema Cavalcade so that I can make fun of it later.
You mean praise it later?
Yeah, actually, it's pretty good.
Damn right. 2-time award winner. All right, so suck on that bone. All right. Possibly 3. We'll see what happens. Yeah.
Don't ruin your streak, man.
Cult Cinema Cavalcade is a podcast, believe it or not, that we watch usually bad movies, sometimes obscure, bizarre, unknown movies. And we take one movie each episode, talk about it, just go through the whole thing, and we've seen all kinds of crazy stuff. I think I always tell people about Blood Freak, which is a Christian propaganda, anti-drug horror movie.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah,
that sounds. No, I don't want to watch that.
Well, no, you don't want to watch it. You just listen to the episode. It's much easier to listen to the episode.
I watched probably one of your best movies with you, which was Battle for Endor, because that is a fantastic movie.
Well, you have an unusual definition of best.
If I remember correctly, you said you didn't hate it.
I guess, yeah, I didn't hate it. The Battle for, the Caravan of Courage was much more painful.
Yeah.
That's the only way to do it. It's painful and sad because you went Star Wars, but you get Caravan of Courage.
Yeah. What are you going to do?
Not watch it is what I would recommend.
So we are going to talk about Star Trek because that's what There Are Four Lights is about.
Right.
Now that we've talked about Star Wars and Christian horror propaganda films.
Yeah.
Whatever. So let's talk about the main universe timeline versus the Kelvin or new movie timeline.
Okay.
Are you aware of how that started and why?
Well, I've seen the movies and I've watched the show. If that's what you're asking.
Behind the scenes on the production end.
Why it was called Kelvin, or just
no, just like why they aren't using the main storyline.
Can I just ask you more questions about what your question is?
Yeah,
That'd be great. Now, why don't you just go ahead and save us some time?
So the licensing is split between two companies. All the TV licensing sits with CBS. All the movie licensing sits with Paramount because they used to be one company.
Right.
So for Paramount to make movies based on a TV show that they're not going to reap benefits from didn't make any sense. So they split it, and now we have the Kelvin timeline.
So what you're saying is it wasn't an artistic choice; it was a financial choice.
I'm sure it was artistic in some way. Like they
Sure.
They scrolled their signatures a little bit on the paperwork to get this going.
Sure. Well, yeah, Paramount has always been known just to really want to express artistic ideas. That's what Paramount's known
Absolutely.
for. Yeah.
You got Top Gun. That's a Paramount film. I can't think of any other movies with the Paramount logo at the beginning of them.
The first 8 Friday the 13th movies.
Oh yeah. Some of those are good. The first one actually still stands up and is kind of scary.
They're all wildly entertaining. And what we need is a Star Trek...
Don't say Star Trek Freddy crossover. There's a comic book for that, I'm pretty sure.
No, Jason crossover, because he's already been in space. I'm just saying.
Yeah. He's already in space. You might as well pick him up on the Enterprise.
That's right.
Yeah. So what is your experience with the non-Kelvin universe, the original universe? Like, you've watched all the episodes. You've watched all the movies.
Right. I'm not, as up to date on, the later series.
You can just say you're not a nerd. It's okay.
No. I'm wearing a K9 shirt from Doctor Who and a Doctor Who belt with a Doctor Who bag. This isn't costume time for me.
Yeah, but you're wearing that hat. Makes you a hipster, doesn't it? That just pulls the whole hipster thing together.
No, I'm reclaiming it for nerds.
Okay, no, that's fair.
Yeah.
I do like the hat.
Damn straight you do.
So of the movies, of the 13...
Sure.
12?
Sure.
10? 10 movies. It's 10. Which one's your favorite of the original line?
So we're including Next Generation then?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. First Contact. That's not even a question for me.
Oh, okay. That's fair. I mean, First Contact is, I think, of the Next Generation stuff, is the most solid.
Right.
I think they get everything good front to back. I think Generations is fine, but it's a little pandery to... weird places.
Yeah, whatever. We get to see Kirk one more time.
Yeah.
So I'll take it. It's all right.
For me, it's Wrath of Khan. I think Wrath of Khan is a super solid movie, just all by itself.
There's a place in I cannot remember the name of the town now, which is a great story. The Artcraft Theater.
In Franklin?
In Franklin, Indiana. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a good place.
Yeah,
Franklin.
the first time we went there with my friend Brandon, who we do Cult Cinema Cavalcade together, he called me maybe 2 hours before the show started, and it's about an hour away from Indianapolis, and he said, "Hey, they're playing Wrath of Khan on 35 millimeter. Do you want to go?"
Right.
Yeah, I was I was literally in the middle of the woods. I was surrounded by snow. I was okay, yes. I gotta run home and unhike myself, and then I'll be ready to go.
Now I'm imagining you live in the woods, surrounded by snow, and that's just where you hang out. And then when people call you put on your civilized clothing,
right?
Pretend.
I have a lot in common with the Revenant. Less bears, still bears, but less.
We saw a 35 millimeter version of it at the theater in Circle Center 6 years ago before Gen Con. It's been a while.
Yeah.
And it's way better on the big screen. The small screen doesn't do anything good for most movies.
That's true. That. When I saw it in Franklin, I'd never seen it on a big screen before, and I've seen Wrath of Khan several times, but that was the most emotional, I guess.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, it just hit me extra hard. It's a fantastic movie.
We got to see Last Crusade down there. Mm-hmm. It was fantastic. And then they did a horror like marathon.
Yeah.
And I saw like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and the first time I'd ever seen Night of the Living Dead was there.
Yeah, we were there too. So
that's right. I did see you. Did I see you?
I don't think we saw each other.
Sure. That's cool. I didn't want to hang out with you then anyway. In the past,
whatever.
3 years ago, whatever. But yeah, the Night of the Living Dead was really good on. I'd never seen it, and it's not like there's some things that could be updated, and that would be fine. But it's still a solid, really solid.
Hey, it's one of my favorite movies. Yeah.
So,
and anyone that disagrees, I'll punch you right in the face.
So you would say that you're a fan of what, like 4 or 5 of the original series of movies, and the other 5 are kind of iffy?
The movies, I'll watch any of them at any time, honestly. Well,
any of them?
Not the first one. I won't watch the motion picture.
Pinching Spock and Uhura fan dance?
Sign me up. Absolutely.
Really?
I would.
You want to go talk to God at the center of the universe?
Sure.
Okay.
It's fine. When the Kelvin universe stuff came out, everyone freaked out. It was like, I gotta watch Star Trek. This is amazing. This is so much fun. And to me, it was just another Star Trek movie. That's not a bad thing. It's just that when I watch a Star Trek movie, I just like them all, even bad or good. To me, it was just another one that I could enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've watched all 3 of the Kelvins?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And what's your favorite of those 3?
Of the 3, what the heck? What the heck was the most recent one? I'm blanking. Beyond. Thank you. Yeah, that was the best one. Okay. I think this is the best one.
Sure.
Anyone that says different, I'll punch you right in the face. So.
Oh, I'm going to get a punch in the face.
Warming them up now.
Honestly, I'm not sure which one of those is my favorite, because I think that the first one is the weakest of the 3, but I think all 3 of them are fine. They're fine movies. They're enjoyable. They're a little more popcorn film than I would want out of Star Trek, but I think that's the difference between the 2 is that the original 6 are sci-fi movies primarily, while these new ones are action movies primarily. And they happen to be also like sci-fi and Star Trek, and they at least, unlike some other things Star Trek lately, stick to the story and the confines of the Star Trek universe. So I can get behind that.
Yeah,
that I appreciate. But they're very much action and then also Star Trek instead of being sci-fi and Star Trek, and then also sometimes action. Although the Star Trek, the emotion picture is not action. It's the opposite of action.
Yes.
It's about as close to Stanley Kubrick as you can get in action.
I mean, they call it a motion picture, which is technically right because things are moving.
Just very, very slowly.
Very slowly.
Very slowly.
Yeah, like we understand this ship looks nice.
Yeah. Oh, those are pretty colors. There's a lot of pretty colors here for a while.
Yeah, like if I wanted to see something pretty, I can watch so many other movies.
Right.
It'd be just fine.
Right. Yeah, so how do you think that the Kelvin characters line up with the original series? Do you think that the portrayals are honest and true, or do you think they're a little off?
Nah, I think for the most part they got the essence of the characters right. Some people have an issue with Uhura and Spock kind of having a thing, but I don't. Whatever. There's bigger things to worry about and be upset about.
I'm more upset that her hair is not 6 foot tall.
Well, apparently Spock coming back in time changed hairstyles as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And the skirts aren't as short, I think.
At least Spock coming back in time didn't completely change technology 1,000%, and now we can do hollow projection. Oh, that's a totally different thing. Sorry. That's other issue.
Yeah, Spock.
Another thing.
Yes, Spock had a big ripple effect when he came in.
Yeah, good night. So you think that most of the characters are? Do we not get enough of any one character?
If anything, I think we tend to get more of the characters than we did before in the other movies. The show and the movies of the original timeline have always kind of been about Spock, Kirk, and Bones, and the other people are important too, but it's mainly those 3. Right. And I think the Kelvin universe has done a little bit of better job of showcasing everyone. It's still those main 3, but Uhura is pretty important too. I mean, they're all important, but they have more time in the story.
Kick ass in that first one.
Right. Yeah. I'd say that Chekhov didn't get a whole lot of time, which is unfortunate.
Yeah. Especially now that the actor is passed.
Yeah. And Scotty. That's another person I want to see a lot. Yeah, that other whatever.
Yeoman Rand.
Yeah. I do want more Scotty, but other than that, I think
we got
really good.
A ton of Scotty in the third movie and beyond.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I like it. Yeah.
Since Simon Pegg, wrote that.
Great. He can keep writing them.
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine. Although we're not getting him writing anything else. We have 2 more Kelvin movies coming, and neither one are written by Simon Pegg.
Until those scripts suck, and then he go come in, he gonna save it.
This is why Cult Cinema Cavalcade is a 2-time winning podcast. 2-time.
Well, we get to edit that show. This is all by the seat of your pants.
Yeah, this is how we roll here at the Nerds Domain and in Southgate Media. We just seat of your pants all the time. So looking forward, so we've done the original series.
Yeah.
What do you see for Next Generation? What do you want to see out of the Kelvin universe for Next Generation? How does that change in the Next Generation? And if you were going to cast it today, what do you think?
I would say that they replace Data with RoboCop. Make the ultimate awesome movie.
I don't know. No.
I'm just saying.
There's too many bloody head explosions in RoboCop for that to really work. Unless Tarantino's writing it. And you know what? You're right. This works perfectly. You bring Tarantino in, you put RoboCop in, head explosions everywhere. Star Trek.
You're telling me you don't want to see a Klingon confrontation with RoboCop saying, "Dead or alive, you're coming with me." You're telling me you don't want to watch that?
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. I'm telling you, if you want to break the rules, that's how you break the rules. You take a character from a property that is not owned by Paramount, and
right.
in there. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a solid plan. Solid plan.
That's why I don't make movies, I guess. As far as what would happen in the Kelvin universe for Next Generation, I mean, geez, I don't know what it would be. I'm trying to think of a way that it would advance, because the Kelvin universe movies are already technologically pretty advanced.
And darker.
And darker.
Not in a Discovery way, honestly.
Right.
But they are darker in theme, and there have been moves by Starfleet that have really changed a lot of what's going on. And plus, the whole fleet's gone.
Well, there's that little hiccup, sure. As long as they keep it a kind of a utopian future.
Yeah.
That's mostly what I want out of it.
Okay.
I know that one of the draws of Deep Space Nine was that, initially it was like the other Star Treks, where it was utopian, everyone got along, and then once Gene Roddenberry died, they said, okay, the old man's gone, we can do whatever we want now.
Well, I felt like it was the utopian world interacting with non-utopian worlds and dealing with that struggle between them. So I think there was still the core of it that was there.
Yeah.
But I think that it did very much change. Also, then Voyager came out, and everybody was excited about Voyager on the production staff. So Deep Space Nine got to do whatever they wanted.
Yeah.
Which that's cool too.
Yeah, that's what they tell me. Sure.
So, so who do you cast for Jean-Luc Picard?
Terry Crews. No,
that would be amazing. No. You can cast Terry Crews as just about. You could cast Terry Crews as Data. I would watch that.
Why is Data always flexing his pecs? It doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't matter.
I think, honestly, I guess he could be Worf, I guess, just because he's a big dude. He's an intimidating guy. I think that would not be terrible. And he seems to be a pretty big dork, secretly.
He does seem to be a giant dork. That's awesome.
So he'd be super pumped about it. But as far as the captain of the ship, let's just give it to James McAvoy. Just have him do all of Patrick Stewart's parts.
I mean, might as well. Like, you get young Patrick Stewart, you get old Patrick Stewart, just James McAvoy.
Yeah.
He just needs to go to London for a while and become a Shakespearean actor.
Sure.
Everything it's a cycle. And then Patrick Stewart passes away, but gets rebirthed as the replacement for James McAvoy.
Yeah. And then we'll have enough X-Men and Star Trek forever.
Yeah. This is a great plan. I like this plan.
I don't know the mechanics of it, but the big picture sounds great. Yeah.
All right, so let's talk. I'm going to keep going on this casting thing. I can tell you're really not excited about, but that's okay. I like it.
No, I'll do whatever.
Let's talk about Riker. Who do we have walking sideways through doors and mounting chairs?
Well, it's got to be someone that
Can mount chairs.
Can
You
mount-
gotta have a tall guy. He has to be tall.
has to be tall. Yeah.
I could also take Terry Crews as Riker.
Oh, you know,
He's got that charisma.
yeah. Well, if we're looking for a tall dude, 'cause, we want someone that is attractive, but also kind of gross, because that's what Riker is. Like, he's a good-looking dude, but he's always looking like he's going to rub someone's back. Just
Sure.
because.
Okay, sure.
I'm gonna say Rob Delaney, because I love Rob Delaney, and he's a tall dude. Rob Delaney is a comedian. He's also the star of Catastrophe. It's on Amazon, and it's a BBC show as well.
I'm not familiar with Rob Delaney. I'm going to look him up while you keep talking.
No, all right. Well, I think again he's a good-looking cat. And he's tall, so the chairs are nothing to him.
Right,
he's probably
right.
taller than Jonathan Frakes, actually.
And you don't even have to be broad shoulders to turn sideways to walk through doors,
No,
as Jonathan
absolutely
Frakes
not.
has kind of proven.
People right now might know him as Peter from Deadpool 2. The guy with the mustache that has no powers or abilities.
I'm sorry, I've not seen that yet.
Have you not seen the trailer for Deadpool 2?
I don't remember.
Okay.
No, I
Hang on. I got a picture. He's on my phone.
I've
there.
got him right here.
right.
Yeah. I could see that as Riker. Throw a beard on him.
Oh, absolutely.
Second
He's
movie? Yeah, that'd be great.
He rocks a beard hard. He looks like a lumberjack when he has a beard. That's what I want. There needs to be more lumberjacks on the Enterprise.
So let's talk about more casting and
Okay.
actually more of like a storyline issue. So we bring Tasha Yar in.
Okay.
She sticks around and doesn't get murdered by a trash bag. What happens
There's
to
a pile of goop
What happens to Worf?
after she dies.
She sticks around.
Oh, she sticks around?
She's security chief, and Worf is no longer just hanging out on the bridge, sometimes being a Klingon, which is what he does in season 1 until she dies.
Oh.
And howling. He howls occasionally.
So is Tasha Yar still head of security then?
Yeah, absolutely. Who else do you want as head of security? I mean, honestly.
Worf. I mean, I don't. I don't know. Nuts. I don't know. Maybe he's not the head of security. He's just another person that's part of security. I don't know what other function he would do,
Yeah.
unless they have to develop something else that he's good at other than fighting. Because I don't know what else he would be good at.
Maybe he's the strategic officer, like he ends up being on Deep Space Nine. Since clearly in the Kelvin universe, we're going to be at war with everyone.
That's true. That's a good idea.
So, like, you got your strategy officer.
He's in charge of flying and shooting.
Yeah. Okay.
Fancy up the name, but flying and shooting, yeah.
This is our flying and shooting officer, Lieutenant Commander Worf. He's a Klingon. You didn't have a problem with the name of his title, but he's a Klingon. That's an issue. Okay, great. Okay, so and then who do you see as Data?
Yeah, that's maybe one of the harder ones.
It's tough because you got to have somebody. You got to have somebody that can not have emotion while still being entertaining. And I will say, Brent Spiner, if you watch some of the stuff that he does, he's incredibly entertaining while he's not having emotions. He's amazing.
Yeah, no, he's fantastic. That's what's so hard about it. Like all the other people, I mean, they're obviously good at what they did, but he did a great job with that character. So it's just difficult to imagine. Like it's easier to imagine someone else as Captain Kirk than it is to imagine someone else as Data.
So we just bring Brent Spiner back. We
He's
throw
gonna
him
lose
into frozen storage between movies.
Let's have him lose a little bit of weight. I mean, he's not like
sure.
gross or anything like that, but it's just
It's not like Riker.
that's
in the Enterprise episodes that he's in at the very end of Enterprise.
yeah. Like he puts on a pork chop and then he goes engage.
So I assumed you watched Enterprise, the Star Trek.
I
series.
did not.
So the last episode is
Well,
very
I know the last episode.
disappointing.
It's super weird. It's just
but
Riker
he is-
talking about everything,
but he's,
right?
like clearly put on a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Like, a lot, and is not an issue. It's just weird. They're like, this is totally the same guy. Don't worry about that. Like, guys, we have to hand waste space. This is too much.
He has space bloat.
So your podcast comes out every other week still?
Correct.
And-
Last month it was every week, but the traditional schedule
You
is
had, Tome.
yes, Tome, because it was May. So we did Tome. It was all 4 Toxic Avenger movies. Went through all of them.
Was it very traumatic?
Yes, I was traumatized.
Traumatized? That's awesome.
If anyone else has any other trauma puns, let me know, but that's what we did.
I'm sure there are a lot.
We did all the best ones.
Where can we find you guys?
Like anywhere podcasts are downloaded, you're going to find us, except for like SoundCloud, I guess.
So you're on Zune? The Zune Marketplace?
Okay, I guess probably not that either. But iTunes, Stitcher, whatever podcast app you have on your phone, you can get to us. We have our site, cultcinemacavalcade.com. We're also on social media because you have to be, unfortunately. We're on Instagram and Twitter at CC Cavalcade, and Facebook. Just look us up at Cult Cinema Cavalcade.
Fantastic. Well, Nerds Domain is at booth 1128 in the vendor hall all weekend here at Indy PopCon, where you will find us and author James Wilder with his awesome books of poetry and Doctor Who and 10,000 Dawns. Yes, that's correct. I totally didn't write any of this down. But you should definitely check that out while you're here. And yeah, we will talk to you guys next week.
For updates about upcoming SMG Podcast Marathons, follow us on Twitter at SMG Pods, on Facebook at Southgate Media Group, or go to our website and sign up for our email list at southgatemediagroup.com. Thanks again for listening.